responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, y'all know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah.
Hey, Cheryl Lowry.
The game like that. So much crying.
How you doing, dear?
He's a man. They can be a hit just like this. He's
Long time.
You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready. And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Media Monday, and I mean all Hades has been breaking loose in the world of the media. I've not been off the phone since this morning, getting invited into different press conferences, conference calls, you name it, where the Power 5 conferences in college football are trying to decide if they're going to go forward and try to play the fall season of football. And of course, you already know there are a lot of people who have opinions and feelings and emotions about that. Everything from, oh my God, here we go. You know, it's just like the common cold and all the above. To, you know, people literally saying you got to shut the whole thing down. What I know so far is reportedly, the Big Ten only had 2 schools that voted to play, and the rest of the schools are voting to not play. And we're going to have Willie Gibson get in here a little bit later to give us an update on that. But that's what I know right now. That reportedly the Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan State, Illinois, Iowa, those schools have the majority say postpone. 2 schools have said they want to play. Reportedly, one of them is Nebraska that wants to play. And, you know, again, one of the interesting things about this is if you are in a state that does not have a big outbreak, well, obviously you want to play for various reasons. You want that revenue, you want that escape from reality, you want to get out there and give your kids a chance to play. And just because there are more cases in, let's say, Michigan or Ohio or somewhere else, you know, it's almost like you don't feel like your kids should be restricted. I don't want to use the word punished, but your kids should be restricted from playing. But this gets to the bigger picture of the conferences and the association known as the NCAA all together. Once you are a member of a conference, You literally sign on to adhere to the bylaws, the do's and the don'ts of that conference. And oh yeah, by the way, you've got a bigger umbrella called the NCAA, which for the most part has been non-existent. For the most part, has not given any real direction to these schools, conferences, and ultimately to the players. So it's a lot going on. Reportedly, the Pac-12 is going to vote or has already voted. I'm not sure because there's mixed reports that some of these major conferences met yesterday, some met today, and that's why, again, I've been trying to get it all. Valencia King, if you know anything and have gotten any updates, I'd love to hear from you. 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Big Mike Riggins, if you're on and you've got any updates, please give me a call. It's that fluid, y'all, where this is developing right now before our very eyes in rooms that we're not in. Again, 281-453-1000, 281-453 Valencia, Big Mike, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, if you're out there and have any latest updates. I know she's in the DMV. Maryland is a part of the Big Ten. So there might be some updates from her. I'm open to them all. David Grubb hosted a morning show this morning, 6 a.m. to 9 on, what was it, 103.7, I believe is the call letters, 103.7 The Game. And great job. I got a chance to listen to that while I was on one of the Zoom conferences trying to get the skinny. And great, David does a great job. David is a great broadcaster, journalist, announcer, host, you name it. Knows his stuff. And that's why we're so grateful to have him as a brother and as a friend. He'll be on again tomorrow. And I think Wednesday. So I'll post the link to the station where you can listen live. I got a phone call. Hello, you're live on a lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, Jay, it's Todd.
Hey, Todd, what's up? I'm sorry, I didn't purposely not call your name, but I know you're getting a lot of it real time as well. Any updates on what the Big 12 is talking about doing?
Man, I haven't seen anything specifically with them, but I think they're going to follow suit with what probably the Big Ten is, saying they plan on doing. I don't see them. I don't see them trying to do it. Man. I mean, think about it, right? Let's look at it from. I wish we could have a lawyer on your show, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to make that happen, and I haven't been able to get it done. David Grubb has a guy that's been coming on his show. I might try to borrow him and do that because that's where a lot of this lies, and that's why the university presidents got together without the conference presidents and the ADs because they need to look at this from a legal standpoint as well as a financial and an athletic standpoint.
And that's what I think a lot of people are missing is like, everything in life is risk reward, right? What is the risk versus the reward? So, you see people on Twitter like, hey, just have them sign waivers. Man, you can get out of a waiver.
Yeah, man.
You gotta call a lawyer. We'll find a loophole in that. Hey, they made it. My client signed us under distress.
Yep.
He was under pressure. His teammates were saying, "We need you." He felt forced to do it. He didn't know what he was signing.
Yep.
But I think what happened, something happened too in conjunction with the fear of, of kids having heart issues, lung issues, and
right.
stuff like that. I think that when the Pac-12 players kind of united together, I think that put a lot of fear in these school presidents of, man, what happens if there's an outbreak of one of these schools and they unite together in a class action lawsuit?
Yep.
What's that going to look like?
Yep. And Todd, they have to look at the liability of the exposure. I mean, no comparison whatsoever. I'm just talking about from a liability standpoint. But Michigan State and Penn State both had to pay out a ton of money from the school's dowry. And yeah, there was some insurance that covered those suits, but there was a lot that came out of the out of the schools' dowry or their money. And these presidents have to look at that. Class action lawsuits, against Texas. Let's say Texas really does manage their budget down to just a couple of $1 million from hundreds of millions of dollars. Dude, imagine having to pay out a couple of $100 millions on class action lawsuits.
It would easily be that. Remember when, the young man, Jordan McNair, right?
Yep.
Didn't his family file a lawsuit?
Yep, civil lawsuit, sure did, wrongful death.
And I know it's a different scenario of how the young man died and maybe someone with COVID, right? But it was still at the hands of under the university's watch, right?
Right.
He was under the care of a strength coach. It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same principle. So, like, I'm reading this thing online on Jordan McNair, right?
Yep.
It's talk about the filing claims and amount of damages in excess of $10 million.
Yep.
For each parent.
Yep.
So, and then it says for a liability of more than $30 million.
Yep.
So it all sounds all good. Hey, let's try to play. And even if the kids right now, or this is a scenario, you protect the kids from themselves. So in the sense that I thought someone used a good analogy. If you knew a player had a concussion in a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't let the player go back out there just because he wants to play.
Right.
You take his helmet, say, hey, you're not playing.
Right.
That's the the day.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, Todd, hold that thought. I got to take this quick break, but I want to come back and speak to that because there are a lot of people that are saying, let the 18, 19, and 20-year-old adults make the decision. And I really want to get to that because you know what? Sometimes we radio announcers, sports broadcast journalists can be the dumbest people in the world. And I mean that sincerely with love and compassion. Just because we do host sports talk shows does not mean that we are Dr. Ruth when it comes to parenting. I'm just sorry. We don't have it right just because we have a show. I'll be right back. We'll talk about that more with Todd when we come back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's Media Monday, and right now the media is rocking.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list turned on?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire.
I know that.
Best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Reach out to a couple of people to see if we can't get some updates as well. Let me go back to Todd. Todd, I was saying that, sometimes we as sports broadcasters, we get so caught up in our craft and our profession that we say dumb things as parents. Like, I'll even try and take it off of us as broadcast journalists. As a pastor, I remember asking my oldest son what kind of went wrong with our relationship. Our relationship went awry. And he said, "Dad, you are a great pastor."
Right.
And that was just earth-shattering to me. I heard loud and clear what he was saying. You aren't necessarily the best dad, but you are a great pastor. In other words, there's some things that I would say to my son as a pastor that I wouldn't say to him as a father. And there's some things that people say as broadcast journalists and sports talk show hosts that I don't think they would say to their kids if they were parents. And this whole notion that it's an 18, 19, 20-year-old adult when it comes to their health, their safety, and a public sense of responsibility where they could literally give this to other people in our family, other people in our community, other people at the school. That is not where you lean on them being an adult. These are the same ones that if they tore something up or did something wrong, you would be trying to sell them as an 18, 19-year-old kid who didn't know any better.
See how they flipped it, AJ?
Absolutely. I do.
The adults, when it comes to something they want them to do with their kids, when they do something and their favorite player is going to get punished or suspended. So, I think the Jordan McNair outlies why universities are going to err on the side of caution is because if you field a team out there, a lawyer and go into a courtroom and say, the SWAC shut it down, the MAC has shut it down, all these other conferences were smart enough to shut it down, why did the Big 12 push forward? You have no leg to stand on when those other peoples around you have their doctors and their medical experts telling them you don't need to do this.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, again, I am a sports broadcast journalist, bro. I am not an MD. I don't research infectious disease. Just because I can look at my screen and see that, we got 5 million cases, but only 160,000 of them have resulted in death. That doesn't make me an expert. It just means I can read numbers. That's like me reading, the Rockets beat Sacramento 129 to 112. I don't mean I know the details of what happened.
Yeah, and I think that most of the people there, it's like, let's just say fans, for example, right? People on social media, they just want to see their college football. They really don't care. I think for the most part, they don't have a connection with the player unless they know someone on the team, it's a family member. I'm talking about the ones that are they don't have a connection directly on the team with someone they know.
Yeah.
They just want to see their college football.
Right. And and Todd, I get it. I understand. But what I'm saying is you don't trot somebody else's kid out there with the possibility of something more than just football. And that's what, they know that they go out there, they can get hurt in football. This is something more than football. You're asking them to do something more than what they signed up for, just so you can be entertained and just so money can be made for the community. And I get it. Don't hit me with all the economists out there. Look, couldn't do math in high school, but all of a sudden you're a financial economist. Listen, I understand the economy's got to get going, but I promise you, I'm talking as a parent now, not on the back of my child. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and I saw something was the other day, the college towns. That's their problem. You need to find another way to generate revenue outside of college football.
You know, we talked about that. We looked at Tuscaloosa. We looked at the size of the town and, what the prominent industries were in the town. Alabama, University of Alabama is the number one employer in the area. In fact, University of Alabama is one of the number one employers of the state.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the players' problem to, provide for other people, carry on that burden. And, the people that are going, I can't remember who posted that about the college town, but man, I'm not worried about Norman, Oklahoma. I mean, that's not my concern of why it's set up where just, college football runs everything. That's more of an issue with the town of having it set up like that way.
Well, and that's why I got into that. Have we gotten spoiled or addicted to sports? Because literally we have tied sports to the very fiber of our economy in some areas. Like, that's it. Gainesville, Florida, man. And if it ain't that medical school or, the hospital or the university, you out of luck.
So it's weird. Like when it started coming out, I guess it was yesterday or maybe the day before, that a real thing could actually the season be canceled. It seemed like the power shift kind of shift, right?
Yeah, Todd, wait, give me one more break. Let me take this quick one and then we'll come right back with more of Todd right here on Media Monday on the lunch break.
You're home. You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's it.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do
One more time.
done.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
Hey, Angela Price Hartman.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole.
Black
Tune in
on, black
every
operated.
Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK. 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey guys, this is your girl Randy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones as I continue to focus on buying black businesses. I got to give some love to Gospel 1360 KWWJ. It is a black-owned, black-operated radio station, AM and FM, 1360 and 96.9 FM. They're primarily in the Baytown area, but they hit all over Houston. They hit all over Galveston, and I'm telling you, man, they some good gospel music. So if you're not hip to them, get hip to them. AM 1360 and FM 96.9 as we focus on black-owned businesses. All right. Let me get back to Todd. Todd, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do you like that, but you were talking, or at least I had talked about how they flip the script on the 18. They're adults when it's something they want, and then when it's something else, then it's, oh, they're just kids, they don't know any better. And then you had started saying something, and I hated to have cut you off right in the middle of that.
Yeah, no, so it seems like this whole time, I don't think the players or fans even imagined possible that the Power 5 schools would cancel the season. I don't think anybody really thought. I'll give you an example. I was listening to Clay Travis's show. It was like a month ago or something like that. Not far, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
There was a guy on there in the morning, and I was listening to it because my normal show, my guys are on vacation. Anyway, I'm listening to him. There's a guy on there that is a commentator for Fox Sports, and he goes, they are going to have college football. There's too much money in it to not have it. He goes, he was determined that they will make this happen. This 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I don't think the players, fans even thought there was any possibility that they would cancel it, that they were going to make it happen.
Right.
Now, I don't think it ever occurred to them. And then yesterday, the day before, when it started to leak out that, hey, man, this might be a real thing that they're canceling, it seems like the power shift kind of flipped, if you will, right? It's almost like the schools just kind of pulled the rug out of like, hey, we're cool with not doing it. If you think we can't live or not do a football season, watch. We will cancel this thing. And then you saw the players start coming out of like, the hashtag we want to play and things like that. But I think it's taken a lot of people by surprise because the whole narrative is these schools making millions, they'll do whatever to make this thing play, right?
Right.
And we're starting to see that's not necessarily the case. That they're more concerned about the liability part of it versus forcing this thing and making it happen. So I think that took players by surprise, and I think it took the fans by surprise that they're like, man, we don't have to do this. We'll just circle back next fall and see where we're at.
And that's the thing, when the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, came out this weekend. That was huge. I sent you the thing like, all right, here we go. I felt like some dominoes were about to fall. And then to hear that the conference presidents were getting together over the weekend and then some again today. And I understand there's going to be some votes tomorrow, like in the Pac-12 and some of the other big conferences. And bruh, it literally can happen because now you're literally going above the athletic director. You're literally going above some of the conference presidents who have told these school presidents, it's fine. We're going to be fine. We got strict protocols in the Big 12. We got strict protocols in the SEC. And then they look at the numbers in the community and in the city. And then they look at the positive cases on some of these teams that either have or have not been reported. And now they have to look at it differently. And there are people who just don't understand that. As a CEO, I look at it differently than the supervisor of the mailroom. I have to. I'm not minimizing them. I just have to look at the bigger picture. And there are people behind these microphones and on Twitter and Instagram and all that just don't understand that. It's bigger than you being able to just turn your TV on or your smart device on and be able to watch the game. Yes, it's a business. Yes, this is somebody's livelihood. Yes, they've played their whole lives to have this one chance to be able to get to another level. This is different. This is global. This is nothing that anyone saw coming.
Yeah, someone on Twitter tried to make an analogy comparing it, to concussion. And I was like, man, you can't compare. If you get a concussion, I stand by you. I can't get a concussion.
You can't get the concussion from me.
I was like, man, that's a terrible analogy. I was like, man, concussions don't spread within the team just by being around each other.
Yeah, Todd, let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different standpoint. I appreciate you joining me on the show today, by the way. I'm really wanting to call some of these conference presidents out right about now. Let me tell you why. I think that they felt like they were so big that they just needed to throw something down on paper as far as protocols went. And yeah, maybe they implemented some of them. I'm sure there's some conferences that have had minimal cases. And yeah, we've had some situations with UT and LSU and Clemson and some other places. But you mean to tell me y'all didn't have a contingency for this? Like you didn't run those numbers all the way through to this? Mm-hmm. Like you just thought the closer we got to that first, second week of September, we're going to be good. Yeah, we got them social distance. We got them wearing masks when they're not on the field. We got, tons of hand sanitizer out there. Oh, and if a kid gets sick, we're just going to isolate them and anybody around them, but we're going to keep pressing forward. You mean you didn't run that through all the way to the first or second week of September? Well, baby, you know what? Shame on you.
Yeah, and I think that's what they did is they didn't get that far ahead, and then they see the numbers not really getting better. Yeah, I don't know, but I also think too, as far as that, I think when that the Pac-12 players that, like I said, we were saying earlier, bonded together.
Yeah.
It made them nervous, and I say them. I'm talking about the school presidents, right?
Yep.
Because let's say there's a player out there right now at UT says, "Hey, I understand the risk," which it's hard to really know how much you really understand it till you get it. Then they get it. Someone could have a completely different opinion of it. Their family could, and that's when you go down a path of, a kid having lifelong potential health issues.
Yeah, but Todd, that's the part that the CEO, the president of the university, has to look at. Everybody thought Roundup was a great idea until people start getting cancer from it. Everybody thought baby talcum powder was a great idea until people started catching cancer from it. And no, it didn't happen right away, but once they found out that it caused that kind of disease and problems, guess what they did? They went back and found everyone they could that suffered from them and sued those things to death.
Exactly.
And the universities are not even put a piece of paper in front of my 18-year-old kid and make them sign it and see, don't you see me again with someone or something called an attorney. I promise you, we're going to challenge your piece of paper. And that's how I have to look at it. As a parent, I don't care what you told them was a great idea at that time. And I don't care if they were legal enough to sign it. You knew that there were inherent risks. You didn't consider the cost. Now you're going to have to pay.
You're gonna have to pay, and so the bigger picture is, so let me give an example. So we got a flu vaccine, right? But we still have the flu,
right?
So even if you come up with a COVID vaccine, that doesn't mean COVID's never completely gone one day, right?
Right.
It could be like the flu. We have a flu vaccine every year during the winter. Your doctor calls you, or you start seeing the commercials, get your flu vaccine, right?
Right.
We still have the flu.
Right.
There's just so many strands of it.
Right.
So where's the scenario where you can come back? So let's think bigger picture, right?
Yep.
What is the scenario where we can come back to college football, but COVID's still out there, kind of like the flu is? What does that have to look like where you can eventually return to? That's the part I don't know.
Yeah, I think, well, and we know it's not going to happen. I think with baseball, I'm sorry, not baseball, with basketball, hockey, that dome, that bubble environment, I think that's the key. Obviously, you can't do that with, the tens of thousands of college football players. I get that.
Yep.
But you got to be able to minimize or limit the spread, because that's where it gets that when that spread gets out of control.
Yep.
Now you're opening it up not just to healthy kids who are liable to recover from it, provided they don't have any underlying conditions and there's no long-term effects that we don't yet know about. But you don't want it spreading to those who would not have gotten it if that child, if that athlete had not been involved. Because people were saying, oh, well, if they're not on a football field, they're going to be somewhere and they're going to be doing what they want to do. So they're going to get infected anyway. No, that's different. That's totally different, because in that environment, they have to be where they are going to be for however many games, 10, 12, let's not even add in playoffs because it could be 16. And they're going to be traveling to areas that they would not necessarily go if they were not being told to go to play the game. So you're creating more scenarios for them to get infected and then come back and infect a person who never left their house.
Let me ask you about that. I was asking someone about this. So whenever it gets better, the numbers get down. What about with some of these conference games, with the way you have to travel, you're either going to stay overnight somewhere, which is a whole other element of staying in a hotel. You don't know how clean it's been, right? But what about a scenario when the numbers get better, if these colleges were just trying to play games within closer distances, right? Where you didn't have to get on a plane, where you didn't have to stay in a hotel, basically scrap the conference concept for a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically say, you know what, University of Texas, we're going to play Houston.
Yep.
It's an hour away.
Yep.
Bus right there back. We're going to play Texas State.
Yep.
Right? We're going to play Rice.
Yep.
Right? And then maybe have it be a shorter season, 6-8 games, where you'd have a better chance versus trying to draw it out over 4 or 5 months, right?
Yeah, and Todd, to your point, I mean, the more you limit the unknown, the more you would limit the exposure, the better off you're going to be. I mean, if you got to have something, that is probably more safe than trying to go from, Alabama to Starkville to, Georgia to Gainesville to, all these different, same thing with the Big Ten. You're talking about trying to go from Maryland to Nebraska to, not South Bend, but to Michigan, to, Michigan State. That's a little different than if you talk about doing it, regionally right there in your area. If you got to do something, you got to find a way to minimize the opportunities. But then here's the other argument. Well, if a kid can go into a Walmart, why can't they play football? Dude, you're not sitting in the Walmart for 3 hours hugging up next to somebody.
Yep.
I mean, I can't understand why people don't understand that just because other stuff is open, that means football's got to be open or baseball's got to be open. It does not mean that. It's not the same. It's an illogical comparison.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wonder though. So let's say the Pac-12 thing didn't happen with the players uniting, right?
Yep.
Do you think we are where we are today? Because if that wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
If the Pac-12 players didn't unite like they did, come up with the list of things that they wanted changed, do you think, how much of an impact do you think it had on where we are today?
A huge impact, because I'm looking at a tweet now from the ACC, Big 12, ACC, Big 10, Pac-12, SEC, and Big 12. And it says, hashtag we're united, hashtag we want to play. And it says we all want to play football this season. Establish universal mandated health and safety protocols and protocols to protect college athletes against COVID-19 among all conferences throughout the NCAA. Give players the opportunity to opt out and respect their decision. Guarantee eligibility whether a player chooses to play this season or not. Use our voices to establish open communication and trust between players and officials. Ultimately, create a college football players association, representatives of the players of all 5 conferences involved. Yeah, that's directly related to what the Pac-12 did.
Yeah, and like I said, that had a huge impact. So I think this time could be spent on getting those things ironed out. Since the on the field stuff's going to take a break. I don't see basketball being played either in college. I really think, you're not looking at till maybe fall of next year for they, try to resume it. But I would take that time to try to get the things ironed out, better representation for the players, and get some of those things worked on that was on that list that they wanted, for everybody in college sports, right?
Yeah.
I would take that time. Let's take that time. Hey, let's take a break from the on the field. Let's work on some of the stuff of getting, better representation for the players and stuff that they need, this time. But I think when that happened, man, that all these schools got attorneys, right?
Yep.
And said, hey, man, you're taking a huge risk. Because I was telling you last week, I was telling you those numbers, like 2017-18, Texas brought in $219 million, right? After everything was spent, they only had $2 million, right?
Right.
Well, if you got 10 lawsuits on your books, of $10 million each for COVID cases, and that's $100 million you got to pay out, you may not be able to even play sports because you're paying out lawsuits.
And that's the thing, there's insurance in amounts that cover those, but then there's some times when the liability exceeds what you have coverage for. Guess where that's got to be made up from? And if you're already running a lean budget, you got $100 million policy, you got $200 million worth of suits. Guess what? You got to find another $100. So I get the passion. I get the scenario. Look, I'll even look at it from a different perspective. Dan Orlovsky, who I'm not a fan of, but again, he made a good point, so I got to give him credit.
Okay.
He said, what about the kid who's now got to go home to nothing? He's not going to get tested there. He's barely going to eat. He's barely going to be able to have the basic necessities, which is what college football was giving him. Just him being on campus was a step up. Without even playing the game, was a step up from where he came from. I get that. And it's a very sad, unfortunate scenario. But what do? Do you give a kid one bad thing so he doesn't have to deal with another bad thing? Or do you be an adult and you just simply do what's best for the kid? Because guess what? You can make sure the kid eats. You can make sure the kid has, clothes and necessities. You can make sure his family has. I wish the NCAA would find somebody right now because somebody sent some food or some clothes or a little pocket change home with a kid because they shut down, football on campus. You got to realize that it's not all or nothing. Like, if I want to avoid this, then we got to play football. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So to his point, are some of these kids better on campus where they may be going back home, right?
Yeah.
Whereas food, nutrition, housing.
Right. And the NCAA has said you got to make sure these kids have access to tests.
Yep. Yeah. So,
and not at the parent or the kid's expense.
Yeah. So someone told me yesterday that OU, there's a friend of mine that's a big OU fan, that they sent the OU players home yesterday.
Billy?
No, not Billy. Another guy I know. Not Billy, but another guy I know. That they sent him back and not to report back until like the 14th or the 17th, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even that's a hardship because now kids got to find tickets to get home and what have you. I understand that. But it's not throw them out there and hope they don't get COVID just because it's going to be tough for them to get home and to eat and all that when they get there. There's ways to fix one thing without exposing them to something else. We got to quit looking at this like it's business as usual.
Yeah, so I'll be curious. Someone brought this up. It was yesterday I saw it. It says, so once they cancel it, they need to cancel it, but with a plan, right? Like, hey, we're not going to have it this fall, but we're going to try to do this. But I think if you could keep putting timetables on stuff, that's where fans get disappointed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we're going to cancel the fall, but we're going to do it in the spring. Well, what if in January we're in no better position then than we are now? You're disappointed again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know if putting a timetable on it saying, hey, we're definitely going to do this in January, because I don't even know if you can do that in January. And then you're to be asked players to play 2 seasons in the same calendar year.
You know, and I kind of get that. I would feel better if they took that approach, though, than what they're trying to do right now, rather than trying to ram it through right now. If you push it back to January and do the same thing that they're talking about doing, do a condensed schedule, make sure that there's definitive layoff, time off in between, you know, that season and the other season. You know, you got kids that are going to be going up to the next level. You got kids who, you know, are not going to play, whatever the case may be. You'll be okay. But at least it shows some foresight to say, you know, hey, listen, it's not safe right now. Maybe we can look at it again later.
Let me ask you this, though. Is it safe to practice? Like, I think you and I talked about a week ago. Could they just continue to practice? You know, don't play games, right? Could they still work out together as a team, keep getting tested 2 to 3 times a week like they're doing, and then just do their normal practice schedule, right?
Yeah, as long as they've got that safe bubble environment, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these kids want to still practice, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're practicing, you got college coaches, you're going to get your team, you're getting work in, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, and ultimately, yes, do the kids want to play in the games? Absolutely. But if they're still getting training, getting access to the strength coach, the nutrition, going against each other live, whether it's pads, no pads, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're still getting that work in. And then in the spring, if it's better and they can come up with something that's a condensed schedule that makes sense before the draft or something like that, I don't see an issue. I don't see an issue with that. I think it has to be if you started something in January, what would you think? What, an 8-game season or just something?
You know, 8 to 10, maybe no. Well, they don't have bye weeks in college, but you know how they have those off weeks. And then, of course, you have those little non-conference games. Yeah, you could do 8 to 10.
So the draft is normally, in April, right?
Yeah, and you know, and somebody brought that up too. Yeah, but the NFL's not immune to having to make some adjustments as well. You know, if the NFL is serious about making an opportunity for these young, talented kids to come into the league, they can adjust their draft. Their draft is not set in stone.
Yeah, you could move it back a month maybe to. I mean, think about it, with the NFL, you don't need a ton. In my opinion, I don't think you need a ton of game film, right?
Right.
I mean, if you did something, you started in January and you said, look, we're just going to do a 6-game season, you know?
Yep.
Just to give you guys enough work, enough tape, you know, to help get evaluated for the draft. Because if you plan on coming right back around in the fall, I don't think it can be a full season, you know?
Right.
With playoffs, all that. I think it's got to be something in that 6 to 8 game range.
Right.
Just to help those juniors and seniors that are thinking about, especially the underclassmen, about going pro.
Absolutely. And that's why I say, man, this is an adjustment for everybody. And if everybody does their part rather than thinking that they're immune to it and what have you, I think it can work. And I think everybody can do it safely. But, you know, if folks keep running around with this doggone herd immunity thing, I'm telling you, people don't even understand what that really means on something that's global. We're not talking about a storm. We're not talking about a storm over the plains of Kansas. You know, this is a doggone global pandemic. Yeah, AJ, a lot of people are not dying, but people are. And the fact that you've got people dying every day from it, I don't know. I wouldn't shrug that off. I would try and give it some type of deeper analysis and just stop trying to do business as usual.
And I think maybe for the people out there that are, not fans, just, everyday like myself, maybe it's a wake up call to them for maybe the people that haven't been wearing their mask, you know what I mean? That maybe have been traveling unnecessary, right?
Yep.
Hey, man, I never even thought this could happen. They canceled it?
Yeah, that's what my thing is with the NFL, the NCAA, the conferences and what have you. If you're not coming out of this with a plan in case something like it happens again, then shame on you. It's like you said about, building your total economy around sports. All right, I'm sorry you did that, but guess what? There's more in life going on than sports. And what happens when the sports can't go on? What you got then? It's the same thing with just handling stuff like this. How can you come up with a contingency? You said that maybe college basketball can't work. If I'm college basketball, I'm trying to find a regional bubble. I'm trying to find the best bubble near near the center of all of my schools and saying, hey, Vegas, can we use your facility during, college basketball season? There's a ton of amateur facilities up in Indianapolis. If I'm the Big Ten, hey, how many games can we run up in Indy?
Yeah. Yeah, basketball with the smaller numbers of players on the team, it makes it more likelihood that it could happen. With football, I just don't know if the colleges have the abilities to do a true bubble or, something nearby. I don't know if you can or can't. I mean, it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. And maybe that may be the plan in the spring, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they officially cancel, maybe they say, hey, we're going to try to get up in the spring, and we're going to try to work with the universities of trying to come up with a bubble system like the NBA of trying to, bubble these college players and see if we can do that. I don't know if that's the only scenario to actually make it work in the meantime.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have a lot of people that will just do this. They'll say the bubble won't work for football. It's too many players. Well, guess what? It's not, again, all or nothing. You don't just say the bubble is not going to work, so throw the doors open and let everybody that feels like go and go. That ain't going to work either. So what else can we come up with? If you want it, you got to be willing to do what's necessary to do it as safely as possible, because again, it's bigger than us just being able to turn our televisions on or our smart devices on and watch a game. There are people that are taking risks, and they're bigger than just risks of the sport. This is something different. So if they want it, they got to figure out how to do it safely.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping whenever this eventually comes down. Is I hope that's kind of the part of the plan of if they do cancel, that they come up with, hey, this is what we're going to do to next time of when we'll have it. Here's the plan in place of what we think will work, of why it's not working now. I think that's the harder part to figure out is that latter piece.
Yeah. I'm still trying to go through and see if there's any updates from the Big Ten. Now the Big Ten is disputing the reports of a vote on canceling the season. I heard that all but 2 schools wanted to cancel, and now the Big Ten has released a statement that that's in dispute. That's not what happened. So, this is it's constantly evolving right before our very eyes. Old Dominion has canceled fall football for 2020, and again, I know that's not a Power 5 school, but I think you're seeing here that other schools are saying, hey, regardless of what our conferences do, we're gonna move forward. I know I was on a call with I think it was the head coach of Louisville was talking, and he said that the ACC is planning on moving forward. He was very definitive at the beginning of the video call, but then at the end he says, oh, but this is all subject to change, provided something else happens or whatever. So. Folks sound real strong when they got that crowd in front of them, but when that medical professional leans over and says, yeah, but it could change. Oh, yeah, and it could change.
Looking at it was Stephen A. Smith on First Take. He said the college football season should be canceled. It should be canceled today. What did he say? And then he references Trevor Lawrence. He said Trevor Lawrence will be drafted soon anyways.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is pretty interesting. Trevor Lawrence is trying to lead Black Lives Matter. Trevor Lawrence is trying to be the ACC representative for, the Big 12, Big 10, Power 5s, for their union and what have you that they're trying to get started. Trevor Lawrence is pretty interesting young man.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's a mess. It's weird. What's that really been? We got the NBA going. I don't know. It's a mess, AJ.
You were going somewhere, and let me take you somewhere else real quick. You
Okay.
got the NBA going, you got baseball going.
Mhm.
You know, you got soccer going, you got tennis going. They played a major golf championship over the weekend. Guess what? You mean to tell me you can't make it with what's out there if college football doesn't come along, or if the NFL doesn't come along? I know those are the two biggest in their respective categories, but think about it. Are we that spoiled that, everybody, I just want in-count sports. Give me something. Give me something other than dog racing, horse racing, and wrestling. Okay, you got it. You got Major League Baseball. You got NBA basketball. You got WNBA basketball. The Houston Dash just won the women's soccer championship. So you mean to tell me if it's not football and college football that everything else is a bust? It's agreed, man, that's underlying in this that we got to separate, those that are just never going to be satisfied unless it's back the way it used to be, and those that, really want to do it, but they want to do it safely. And that's what I'm trying to weed between the noise, because some folks, even though they got a big platform, they ain't right. Their mind ain't right. They're just greedy.
Oh, okay. Well, if they officially canceled in college, the NFL is still trying to play, right?
Yeah, they're going to try to play. Let me say this out loud from my chest. The NFL is going to start sometime in September. They're going to kick off somewhere in September. Now, will they finish in February? I don't know. In fact, I'm leaning towards I don't think so. But I believe everything that's with it, no matter whether it's right, safe, they're going to give it a shot in September.
I don't see how the NFL would be any safer, do you?
No.
They're not bubbling them. For the same thing, they're saying that, college kids, they're not going to just stay in a bubble. They want to go out, they want to do stuff. So do grown men too.
Yeah.
I don't see how the NFL is going to be. Do they look as the difference is that the NFL players are, this is what they do for a living, this is what they're getting paid, versus trying to force kids out there that are quote unquote amateurs not getting paid? Is that the difference of how people look at it?
Bro, I'm trying not to lie. I've tried hard not to lie. I don't know, but I'm just telling you, they're going to try to play that pro football.
No, you're right.
It's the biggest one of them all. So you're not going to let baseball run out there and try it, and basketball run out there. For Christ's sake, women's basketball, is getting it in, and the NFL ain't going to try, please. The president ain't going to allow that. He gonna have Roger Goodell. He going to be chasing Roger Goodell down like they in love.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at this hashtag, the we want to play. I just think it falls on deaf ears, man. I don't think the school presidents, not because they don't care completely, but they care more what the attorney tells them than a tweet from a player.
See, again, that's where the players become kids, when they want a union and guarantees. But when it's to determine whether they're going to play or not, then they're adults and they can make that decision.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this question. You see people in the media like Danny Cannell, right?
Yeah.
I can't stand him. But a lot of these people in the media, like Danny Cannell and other people, Greg McElroy, I'm seeing here, how much of them trying to get behind this We Want to Play movement and hoping the schools listen to the kids is them wanting to keep their jobs?
Absolutely. And I don't normally rock with Florio. But Florio said, how surprised are we that, people who make their money calling football games want there to be a season? I was as shocked as nobody.
Yeah, look at it like that. Their opinion is biased. If there's no college, let's take it back. Yeah, if there's no college football season, there's no game for you to announce.
Right.
There's no radio for you to do, right?
Right.
There's no weekly show with Tom Herman if you're doing that, you know?
Yeah.
All that goes away.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, my guest for the next hour has chimed in. Let me go ahead and get to him, Todd. And
Okay.
I appreciate the call today, man. Thank you.
Okay. See you, AJ.
All right, we'll be right back right after this.
1140 KYOK Conroe, Houston. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Media Monday, and again, the media has been dominated by the Power 5 conferences in football getting together over the weekend, some today, to talk about whether they're going to go ahead and play. A lot of this was spurred by the MAC, the Mid-American Conference, over the weekend deciding not to play. Their reason a little different than what the Power 5 conferences are. But then on top of that, you've got student athletes from the different Power 5 conferences combining their efforts to say, these are the things that we want. And oh yeah, hashtag we want to play. One of the things that they're calling for is for an organization or a union to look out for the players. So a lot of it is happening real time. And I wanted to bring in none other than Willie Gibson, who's up in Columbus, covers a lot of the things concerning Ohio State, the Big Ten, and just sports in general. Willie, thank you for making time for me here on the show today.
Appreciate you having me.
And I cannot hear you, Willie. Hang on, let me see what knowing me, I did something. Knowing me, I did something. Let me make sure I don't have you muted. Bang. All right, that's there. All right, see if I can hear you now, Willie.
Mic check 1, 2.
All right, hold on. Let me do this. Wait a minute.
Okay.
I think I know what's wrong.
Okay.
Bear with me. All right, see if that works better.
Microphone check 1, 2.
Yeah, there you are. That was me. That was me. I had my computer muted from yesterday, so my bad.
No,
hey, man, what's going on? First of all, Willie, how was your weekend?
All is well. Weekend was great. Got the word in yesterday. Awesome word. So all is well.
Did you preach yesterday, Willie? You bring the word.
No. Dr. David C. Pastor David Forbes takes care of that.
Willie, go to your left ear, push your earlobe in, and say, "I know he's all right."
No, not your man. Not your man.
Now, Willie, I was wonder, man. I asked you if you could sing. You told me you couldn't sing. I asked you if you could preach. You say you can't preach, Willie. I think if you wanted to sing that song, "My soul has been anchored."
Hey, that's funny you say that. That's funny you bring that song up. That's funny you bring that song up. I have.
Give us a little bit, Willie. Go on, break us off a little piece.
Nah, I'm good. Big Ten, ACC, yeah.
Willie, thank you for coming on, man. A lot has happened, man. It's it's like that MAC decision and what the student athletes did in the Pac-12 started a domino effect on the school level, the conference level, and then on the player level. Tell us what you know to this point.
Yeah, it was reported earlier this morning that the Big Ten presidents, and when I say that, I want people to really pay attention to who's meeting. It's not the players.
Right.
It's not the coaches. It's not the athletic directors. Big Ten presidents voted 12-2 to not play football this fall. It was reported Iowa and Nebraska were the two teams that did vote to play.
Yeah.
But the other 12 voted not to play. Now, subsequently, in the last 45 minutes or so, that's been refuted. That vote did not take place. However, there is an announcement tomorrow by Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren that all reports are that he will cancel the 2020 football season.
Now, Willie, thank you for that, because you covered that succinctly. I heard the same thing, that a vote 12-2 had taken place. Nebraska, I forgot that the other one was Iowa, which I don't want to vilify them. They are in areas that are not experiencing some of the surges like in some of the other areas. So, I don't want to use the word punish, but why restrict their kids if they are able to do something safely, whereas maybe in Columbus or Michigan or some of the other places, they're not able to do the same thing. But that's part of being a member of an association like the Big Ten. You might not be the majority, but you got to do what the majority votes to do. Am I right?
Absolutely, you do. And again, it's the presidents. It's the presidents. They don't want the liability. Now, and also add this: the COVID, the virus is a portion of that, but what's gathering more and more steam by the moment is this unionization that the college football players have begun to, as you mentioned earlier, have begun to put pressure on college athletics. And I think it's to the point where if you go back to the image and likeness, that the game, NCAA football, what happened? Instead of wanting to share the money with the players, they just decided not to play the game, not to publish the game at all.
Right.
So it went to, I don't want to give up any of my money, so we're not making any money. So, and I think a portion of that is in play with this decision as well.
Willie, let me actually pull this document up, if you will. That it's titled ACC, Big 12, Pac-12, SEC, and Big Ten. Hashtag We Are United. Hashtag We Want to Play. We all want to play football this season. Establish universal mandated health and safety protocols and procedures to protect college athletes against COVID-19 among all conferences throughout the NCAA. Give players the opportunity to opt out and respect their decisions. Guarantee eligibility whether a player chooses to play this season or not. Use our voices to establish open communication and trust between players and officials. Ultimately, create a college football players association and representative of the players of all Power 5 conferences. These kids ain't playing, man. They are saying, we are tired of being told, shut up and play. We want to have a voice and some expectations and guarantees in our safety.
Right, and I think that last statement sums it all up. Yes, they want, no one wants to purposefully go out and be exposed to the virus. However, college presidents focused mainly on that last statement you made as reason that they don't want to move forward in this season. Yes, the virus, yes, the liability piece is there. And I think another key point of that is the NCAA, I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday, listed a list of requirements or a list of agreed upon actions that they would take. And one of them was no one would have to sign a liability waiver.
Right.
So now once you take away the liability portion, and now the school, the organization, the NCAA is now responsible if and when something were to happen, I think that kind of expedited this timeline and where we are today.
We got Willie Gibson joining us, broadcast journalist from up in the Columbus, Ohio area, has covered Ohio State, the Ohio State University extensively, a graduate from the Ohio State University.
Ohio State University, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And again, joining us, giving us the latest updates on college football and what's going on with the Power 5 conferences. You bring up a good point. The NCAA literally took one of the key things out from under some of these schools and conferences. And I said before you came on, Willie, is the college president is like the CEO. He's got to look at it differently than the supervisor over the mailroom. And I'm not saying that's what football coaches are. I'm not saying that's what athletic directors are. But the CEO has to look at more than just, can we play? They got to look at the liability if we play and something happens. And even further down the line, if we play, something happens, and that person gets long-term effects from it. What happens 10 years from now when we're having to pay out class action suits because we chose to play football in the fall of 2020? And fans don't understand that. Some broadcast announcers and journalists don't understand that. Former players don't always understand that. It's bigger than just us having the right to turn on our phones, our TVs, our smart devices, and see a game.
Right. And another piece of that earlier legislation or list of requirements that they asked for was, I believe, now that after college athletes graduate, they receive, I believe, 2 years of additional health insurance from that university. And I believe they wanted to extend that to 5 years. of extended health insurance coverage once a student athlete has exhausted their eligibility. So I don't know where that stands either. But it appears not only the Big Ten, but as you said, the Pac-12 is also looking to make that announcement tomorrow as well, that the 2020 football season, well, I don't want to say cancel, but at least there's also discussions to look to play that in the spring. Which, again, you look at, you're butting up against the NFL draft. So you're looking at a Trevor Lawrence, a Justin Fields, who arguably are the top 2 players in next year's NFL draft.
Yes,
What's
sir.
the incentive for them to play at that point?
Well, and again, I get it. I get it. And I said again before you came on that the NFL's got to make some concessions too. You want these kids. Well, guess what? They postponed their season. You can adjust your draft a little bit. Your draft ain't set in stone. Again, bigger picture, man. It's not like any of this is something that somebody could have avoided. It's not like any of this is something that someone asked for, or caused, or brought on themselves. And it's not like any of this is just inherent and goes along with the game of football. Folks say, oh, well, they know the risk. No, nobody knew the risk of COVID-19. This is different. Therefore, you've got to do some things differently. I'm going to be real interested to see what happens with the Big Ten, the Pac-12. I was on a virtual call earlier with the ACC, and at the time, it was the head coach of Louisville talking and said the ACC is pressing forward. To everything he's heard, the ACC is pressing forward with their season. And then, after, a lot of ranting and raving, well, not ranting, but strong comments, he leaned over and said, all of this, though, is subject to change based on what we know as we get closer to the start of the season. So, I hate to say it, the Big 12 ain't in charge. The Big 10 ain't in charge. The ACC is not in charge. This thing has the ability to change every one of their plans.
I mean, case in point, using the Big 10, Rutgers last Monday shut down their football facility after 30 players tested positive for COVID-19. Louisville, speaking of Louisville, I know their soccer team, they had 2 players expelled from school because they had a party, and a number of athletes tested positive for COVID, for the virus. So I think what is more so is it's that liability piece that college presidents do not want to be involved in at all. And he, like you said, just don't know. There's a young man, and I don't call his name, he's a freshman offensive lineman for the Indiana University, tested positive for COVID, has recovered, and now is on social media, he and his parents looking like, look, this thing is serious. I don't know what long-term effects this is going to have on me. I'm having issues now. So you have all of that bundled together. A college president is looking at that like, well, look, I don't want to be the one left out. You know, if 7 conferences decide not to play and 3 do decide to play, and God forbid something happens, no one wants to be those 3 that decided to push forward.
Right. Willie Gibson joining us, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio. Again, covers sports in general, but definitely covers a lot with the Ohio State University. I think that's interesting because I heard another announcer on another station that said you can't just look at what happened at LSU, what happened at UT, what happened at Clemson, and some of the other schools where they had outbreaks, and not look at the fact of all the other schools that didn't have outbreaks. And that's the part that you can't get people to understand. This is not about looking at the majority. This is looking at the exceptions that could affect the majority. If you have an outbreak anywhere, everyone that person comes in contact with is subject to be infected. So, folks want to look at the big number. Oh, you got this many people that didn't get affected and don't have any issues. So why stop it because of these few cases? Because those few cases can affect so many more than we can even imagine.
And not only that, I would counter that point to say those were in June, July, and now August, when summer is pretty much athletes only on campus. What happens when the student population returns and now you have exposure to Ohio State, 56,000 students, and the 105 that are on the football team? What happens at that point?
Travel and you got access to those kids at that school and players. Willie, I got to take a quick break, man. We'll come back with more right here. Willie Gibson joining us right here on the lunch break, Media Monday. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. We'd love to hear your comments. We'll do that next.
A team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focus? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to the Lunch Break. KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Media Monday, and there is a lot going on in the media. Willie, I asked somebody earlier, Willie Gibson joining us from Columbus, Ohio. I asked someone earlier, why didn't the conference presidents and the athletic directors and even the coaches, why didn't they have a better plan as we gotten this close to the start of the season? Like, you mean to tell me you have all these things in place, but you didn't work this all the way through this possible scenario? I'm missing that. I feel like there should have been, all right, the numbers are here, so now we're going to go to plan Z, where we're going to do this, and we're going to do this for X number of weeks until we see this happen, and then we feel comfortable going forward. Why does it feel like they have not thought this all the way through?
Well, I don't speak for I can only speak locally for the team that I'm most familiar with, Ohio State. Yeah. I know Ohio State has taken extreme precautions. Actually, that statement you read from the players, that first one, that universal coverage, that actually is a model of Ohio State's protocol, which Ohio State has been doing since players have been back since day one in June. So those type protocols have occurred here. Why others have not taken it, I don't know. Lack of seriousness, I really don't know. It's hard for me to speculate as to why those entities, those other schools, those other ADs, college presidents, what have you, did not take the warning as serious as others. Perhaps, they I don't know. Let
me ask you this. So, Willie, you covered the Ohio State University. Mm-hmm. let's say you had to travel with the team and go to Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, Indiana, so on. Feel comfortable given the protocols for the league, for the conference?
I do. Me personally, I do.
That's fair, and that's why I wanted to hear that from you.
And then also, relatively speaking, I am also. We spoke earlier when I covered the Cleveland Browns. This is be year 3 for that. Conversely, I'm also comfortable covering there as well, traveling to Cleveland, Dallas, Nashville, Jacksonville. So, I personally, I would have a comfort level in making those plans and traveling accordingly.
All right, let me take you a step further. You have a daughter?
I do.
Okay. Your daughter has to go back to school and walk out on that court you're comfortable with Ohio State, at UT, at Texas, where they had 16, 17, 18 positive cases. Are you comfortable sending her?
Looking at my child, I'm also going to look at an alternative to that. Me personally, that's one thing. I mean, this or any other scenario with my child, I'm always going to look at another way to get it done. So my comfort level with her isn't high on anything. So no, I would definitely keep her here. Not just with this, but again with anything.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like some of our colleagues in our business and some of the former athletes and some of the rabid fans, which is short for fanatic, don't understand that these are children that have parents like you and me.
Sure.
And whether we'll go out and do it or not is one thing. But when you're talking about my child doing it, just so you can be entertained, just so you can raise money for your economy. And watch this. And just so my child can have a chance to play on the professional level. That's different. As a parent, I'm going to look at all of those things differently than I would if it was just me, or in some cases, if it was somebody else's child.
And to that point, the Ohio State University Parents Association, I have a football parents group, and they have issued a statement yesterday, I believe, almost to a parent wanting the season to progress and move forward. They have no issue whatsoever. But again, I'm using Ohio State as an example because Ohio State has been at the forefront of the precautions that have been taken.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I get it. And that's the thing. I think we get a comfort zone that everybody's going to do it the way that we see it being done in the area that we see the most. So in the Ohio State, in Columbus, I'm gonna just tell you, bro, the spikes that we got down here in Texas, and I'm not knocking it, please.
Sure.
Again, I think the governor and the mayor or mayors are doing the best job they possibly can. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, and that's without respect to political party. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes. That being said, it's different. It's not always the same everywhere you go, and it just takes one time to get in the wrong place at the wrong time, and now you're bringing it back to everyone else.
Oh, without question. I mean, I disagree with that. Not at all. Not at all.
What do you think? Again, Willie Gibson joining. Willie, stay right there. Let me take just a real quick break. And when I say real quick, I mean real quick. Let me do that. We'll be right back.
Delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851. How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire.
All right, well, that's the last
Best-selling
one.
author and motivational speaker, Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK. 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey, you want some sports with your lunch? Well, tune in to the legendary KYOK at the lunch break. And I'm Raven Rogers.
Raven Rogers, world-class track athlete, former member of Kincaid High School's track team, and ran at the University of Oregon, SCO Ducks. And, of course, she's running internationally now wherever she can. And we hope everything is safe with her. I'm still trying to get her rescheduled to be on the show. Willie.
Yes, sir.
Willie Gibson, sports broadcast journalist, graduate of The Ohio State University.
Indeed.
And two-time ESPN sports trivia champion, back-to-back, right?
What other way is there? Yes, absolutely. Back-to-back.
Not like you won it, lost it, and then came back and took your title.
No.
I got it this year. I got it next year. And you were in the running for it that third year, right?
I did. I was. We'll
Okay.
talk about year 3, though.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, David Grubb called you out, man, with a little bass in his voice, man.
Who's that?
I'm trying to be Don King on that one right there.
Yeah, let's get it. Get it.
I think that would be that'd be hot, bro. That'd be fire.
Let's go.
And look, on the clock too. Come on. All right, here's a question. You have 3 seconds. Go.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, man. I want to make it tough, man. I want whatever their time frame was. I want to make it tougher.
What did Janet Jackson say? Anytime, any place?
Woo!
Is that what it was? Am I right? Am I right about it? Okay.
Willie raining down them comments. So I got to get to David's working the morning show this week. So as soon as he gets up from his nap, I got to let him know you got called out on the show.
Okay. Nap. Got it.
Right, man. We were talking about, everything going on with the major conferences in football. Let me ask you a question. Basketball related. Do you see a scenario where some of the colleges might be able to do a bubble scenario similar to what we're seeing in the NBA or WNBA? For instance, I know there's a ton of courts available in the Indianapolis area because, they're the amateur capital of the world or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Big Ten says we're going to get as many hotels near these courts as we can up in Indianapolis, and that's how we're going to do our season there.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm out near Vegas, I'm trying to get all those summer league courts as I can, so on, so on. Is it a little different for basketball than it could be for football?
So let me just understand your question. You're asking if they want to put the student athletes in a bubble?
Mm-hmm.
The student athletes? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I sure did. That's exactly what I asked.
So you're asking me if they can put the student athlete in a bubble to play the game. We're not talking about practice, we're about the game. Is that right? Okay.
Are you trying to tell me basically what could go wrong with that?
Not practice, the game. The student athletes in the bubble. Away from campus. Got it. Understood. Yeah.
Willie, they travel for AAU. They they leave home to go to the dorm. They just gotta stay in the dorm until they go downstairs to eat, until they go over to the facility to play their games.
And you mentioned Vegas? Oh. Understood.
Willie, why do I feel like never mind. I ain't gonna say it.
No, it's all love. Listen. It's the heart. It's like your shirt says. It's LOVE. LOVE.
So is there any scenario where they can create a bubble for
the student athlete? Create the bubble for the student athlete. Got it.
Oh my God, my forehead is sweating.
Listen.
Let
me say this. Because I know what you were going to. Can I say this?
Wait, El Michelle said Willie
I
is
know.
funny.
I know. I want to address that because I don't want people coming. I don't want your peeps coming for me. It's all love. It's all fun and games. David Grubb is a good man.
I'm sitting laugh tracks, bro. I'm sitting because that is hilarious. So Willie, in other words, football ain't gonna work, baseball ain't gonna work, basketball ain't gonna work on the college level.
You said that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
But no. But seriously, will it work? Again, will it work? The answer to that is yes. However, how much of the liability is or are the college presidents willing to take? It can work with a certain level of liability. I just don't know that those presidents are willing to take that.
Yeah, if I'm Maryland, University of Maryland, and I'm still dealing with the young man that died during the workouts a couple of years ago.
Jordan McNair.
Jordan McNair. I got no parts of this. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna play. We'll be all right. We'll see y'all next year.
Right.
Or we'll see y'all in the spring.
Right.
You're right. Can it work? Absolutely. In fact, let's jump to the next level. You cover Cleveland, the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I believe football is going to start. How about you?
Without question.
Mm-hmm.
Without question.
Mm-hmm.
And finish.
Mm-hmm.
And finish. They're going to play.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to finish?
They're going to play. They gave the time frame for players to opt out. 69 players chose to opt out, and that's fine. But those that are there, they're going forward. They're playing.
That's where I feel like, now I could be wrong, and I don't mind being wrong. I'm not narcissistic where I can't say, I was wrong. I feel like they're going to start, but I have a feeling they're not going to finish. Not on time. I'll put it this way. I have a feeling there won't be an interruption, but I don't think they're going to finish.
Well, a couple things. They have the bye week, so they can play around with the bye week right now. So let's say hypothetically, we don't wish this. Let's say the Houston Texans. I know I laugh seriously, but I know I'm in the Houston station, but they suffer an outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
They can move that bye week around, play around, give them time to recover. The practice squad this year is bigger. They added 10 spots to the practice squad. So, it went from 6 to 10. They added 4 spots. So you have a greater pool of players if, in fact, something were to happen. That they have those protocols in place. But again, the protocol first and foremost, above anything else in the NFL, is cash, money, the billionaire. Save a billionaire, as you say.
Yeah.
They're going to move forward.
See, and I believe that. I believe there's no way in the world basketball, baseball, soccer, golf, wrestling, you name it. There's no way in the world they're going to start, and the NFL is not going to start. No way. But I mean, you kind of making me believe that they're going to try to finish no matter what, even if they have major outbreaks. Yeah,
because you, as you said, you've named those other sports. What's the incentive for the NFL to stop? We've seen it in Major League Baseball. We've had 3 teams with major outbreaks. They still play.
Yeah.
So what's the incentive for the NFL to say, you know what, we need to stop this?
Willie, I'm just starting to believe that this is going to happen no matter what. Like, as long as a limb doesn't fall off from somebody in the middle of national TV, and God forbid, somebody stop breathing, in the middle of a game that we're watching, and they're going to just play. It's just going to happen.
I mean, how many times have you seen the cart come out on the field for someone with an ACL or a broken leg or a broken ankle, and then they go right back to the huddle and run the next play?
It's an infectious disease, bro.
It is. I'm not discounting that. You're right. However, I'm just looking at the mindset and explaining the mindset of what the NFL has shown.
Yeah.
And what is it when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time?
Yeah.
That they've shown that. So what have they shown to say we may need to stop here? I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't see where they would stop.
Will, let me be honest with you, Willie. You got me leaning more to your side than mine. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm losing faith. It's not that. Mm-hmm. These grown, billionaire-minded folks are going to do what they need to do to make their billions. And, again, if they're not going to do it at the expense, if they're not going to be concerned about high school kids, college and pro, they're going to be out. Somebody's going to be out there.
And not even a billionaire player. You look, undrafted free agent in the NFL makes what, $565, mm-hmm. I believe. Mm-hmm. What's the incentive for him to stop? They could have opted out and gotten $150 or even $350 if you prove you had a pre-existing condition. So if I'm 23 years old, this is the pinnacle. I've grinded, I've sweated, I've cried, I've bled. I've now made it. Yeah. I'm making $565,000. Not even the $19 million player. Talking about the 565 league minimum.
I get it. Yeah.
What's the incentive for them to stop?
And I guess that's where I feel like you got to save some of the players from themselves. I mean, you're right. Man, trust me, if I had a chance to go and make $565,000, there's a little bit of a risk involved. Some stuff can happen. Way my pockets are set up right now, I might give it a shot. I might just give it a shot. But I feel like somebody with a voice of reason needs to be in that conversation. And that's why I say I'm not losing faith. I'm just realizing that this cash money machine is bigger than even I imagined.
Mm-hmm. Oh, without question. And then daily testing. They have the daily testing, so that's the fallback, if you will, the parachute, if you will. We're testing everyone every day. Once we discover someone's tested positive, they're quarantined, separated. 1 of 53.
Yeah, there's a lunch breaker by the name of Karen Gibson that said, "In all things, follow the money." She's right.
Absolutely, I think I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good people, man. That's my homie.
Oh, without question.
That's my homie. Yeah, bro.
Me too.
Yeah. Y'all share the same last name.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump over real quick. Can we talk some basketball?
Let's do it.
Couple of teams got eliminated. Mm-hmm. New Orleans out after losing to the San Antonio Spurs. Sacramento's out, and I think they were out before their loss to the Rockets. Mm-hmm. The Spurs surprisingly have gotten within one game of that final spot, and they're doing it without LaMarcus Aldridge. Mm-hmm. Talk about it twofold, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Are you liking what you're seeing coming out of Orlando, and what do you think that these next 3 games are going to look like as far as heading into the playoffs?
I'm loving what I'm seeing coming out of Orlando. I think this is the what Adam Silver wanted to see when he invited the other players. Never mind the financial ramifications. Never mind the financial ramifications that they needed to get to 70 games. Mm-hmm. That's notwithstanding the fact that he brought those teams in and they have these seeding games and they're playing, because you weren't going to come off a 4-month layoff and go straight to the playoffs. That just wasn't going to happen. You needed that ramp up time. You got that. Game tonight, I'm very anxious to see Indiana and Miami. T.J. Warren, the MVP of the bubble right now, and Jimmy Butler had a little issue last time they played, and now they play twice in 5 days. They play today or 4. They play Monday, and they also play Friday. So I'm interested, if nothing else, just to see that Jimmy Butler, T.J. Warren. But I heard T.J. Warren is questionable with a foot injury.
Yeah.
Questioning something else if he don't play, but that's another story.
You know what? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't call
I'm
it.
questioning something else. It may be on your shirt,
like
but I'm
that.
questioning something else if he don't play.
So you got Miami, Philadelphia. I'm sorry, you got Miami, Indiana, Philadelphia, all within a game from each other. Miami right now, the number 4, Indiana, the number 5, Philadelphia, the number 6. And you saying that man might be sitting out for another reason other than his foot?
You said that. I didn't say that. I just said. Listen, I didn't say why.
Sat down next to it.
Yeah, I did. You know, may have dapped it up a little bit. You know, said what's up, but I didn't say it. But I'll leave it there. Hopefully, he plays tonight.
Man, you know what? Indiana's a dangerous team.
They are.
With Victor Oladipo back, and those young cats that kind of held it down while he was out. They're a dangerous team, man. They're very.
I mean, what was it 2 years ago? They took Cleveland, the LeBron Cleveland, to 7 games in the first round. So they're ready. They're coming.
So Milwaukee is locked up the number 1 spot. Toronto's locked up the number 2. Boston, did they lock up the number 3? I think they did.
I think. I'm not sure if they blocked it. They have. Okay.
Yeah, because there's 3 left to play. Miami is 4 back. So yeah, they locked up.
They've locked it up.
So now you got 4, 5, and 6 are really the only. Those 3 teams are going to be one of those 3 spots, because then you got Brooklyn and Orlando and Washington that are way back.
Right. I know the first 2 matchups have been set, as you said, Milwaukee, Orlando for the 1-8, and then Toronto, Brooklyn for the 2-7. But
Washington's out of it.
Yes.
So right now we know it's going to be Milwaukee and either Brooklyn or Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's going to be Toronto and either Brooklyn or Orlando, and then that's where it gets iffy from there.
Right. Yeah. So Boston, they have 4. Yeah, they're up 4 with 3 to go. So you're right. They have locked up 3. So 4, 5, 6 is going to be interesting. 4, 5 is interchangeable. So they're going to play each other, but.
There's a possibility that Orlando can catch Brooklyn, but we'll see.
Right. Yeah. Philly.
Have to play. Yeah.
Philly.
Now, out of the West, it's a little different, bro.
A little bit.
We got the Lakers locked into number 1. You got the Clippers locked into. No, you don't, because the Clippers are only a game up on Denver.
Yes.
And they're 2.5 up on Houston's. I don't see Houston making that run. But and then it's wide open from there. I mean, literally, you can go all the way down to Phoenix, who still has a shot at that number 8 spot.
I would love it. I would love to see Phoenix. And this is what Adam Silver wanted to see when he invited these teams to the bubble. You had a young team as Phoenix is, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and they're in this 5-0 in the bubble, gaining that great experience. Phoenix is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
if not this year, years to come, they're going to be a problem.
Let's go ahead and give credit to the best GM in I guess they're in San Francisco now. They're not in Oakland. Mm-hmm. The best GM for the Golden State Warriors just got fined $50,000 for talking about a possible trade that he'd like to see happen. Talking about Draymond Green. What do you think about that?
I love it. You got to know better. I mean, I know you got to lose. They invited you in, but these certain things you know you can't. If you can't talk to players on the court without questions, now you're in a television studio in Atlanta, and he should know better. He should know better. But clear tampering. And then when it asked about it, didn't even play coy about it. Ernie Johnson gave him a rope to get out of it, but he went right on with it. So
Well, in radio, we call it the power of the mic.
Mm-hmm.
In television, it's that red light on top of that camera, man. It'll make you say and do some things you never thought you'd say and do. So I think it's going to be interesting. Keith Hennig brings up a good point. The San Antonio Spurs are right there. I mean, they're one game out of that number 8 spot. So they're pretty much, unless something happens over these next 3, they're going to be in that play-in tournament. You give a team like that a chance, anything can happen, man.
Well, the play-in tournament is between 8 and 9. So whoever they have to get to 9. So right now, Portland is 9, which I would love to see somebody get that 9 spot from them.
Oh man, come on.
I would love for somebody to get that 9 spot from them.
The Spurs are a half game behind Portland, and it took Dame Dollar 51.
Mm-hmm. And Embiid to go out because Embiid didn't play in the second half.
Yeah,
he got hurt early on in that game. So if he plays, that's a little different. But Dame, see Pat Bev, why? I mean, that's what he does. I'm okay with him, but Paul George, you got to know better. They stirred the pot with that kid, and he's special.
Willie, let me take a quick break. We'll wrap it up right after this. Willie Gibson, I don't want to call you Willie Gibson Jr., but Willie Gibson joining us next, right here on the lunch break. We'll be right back.
They are buried here. It is a lonely,
I'm thinking Willie Moe Jr.
Oh, you good?
No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be
I'm
that
selfish. I don't want to see Portland in the first round for the Lakers.
You or your family will have the money to pay your funeral.
Can't do it like that, bro.
We offer burial insurance.
Off the air, I can. You said the red light, power the mic. We're not on the mic.
Funeral costs more than $10,000.
I won't say that. I won't say that when we come back. But
We'll talk about that when we come back. What does it mean to have home court advantage during these playoffs?
Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting is more than a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18:19 and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
I'm Linda J. Another election day is just around the corner. We all want change. We all need change. We all can be the change. If you're not registered to vote, please register today. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. Register to vote today.
This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
Oh, Lord.
Good.
It's inspiring.
Somebody just sent me something that's like, good Lord.
Uh-oh.
To inspire with best-selling author.
I won't even mess you up by showing you, man.
Okay.
Tuesday
It's
morning.
one of those things where y'all need to get off social media, like log off right now.
Right.
AM 92.3 FM and KYOK.org.
You're having your lunch on the lunch break with KYOK.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Grateful to have Willie Gibson, a broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio, covers The Ohio State University, graduate from The Ohio State University, and just a good brother, man. Just a very good brother. Comes from good stock. I know his people, so I can comes from good stock. And thank you, man, for being willing to jump on. I know I hit you up earlier, but it was so much going on. We had to try and cover it. Anything breaking that you saw in between the last breaking thing that's been updated?
Not as of yet. Again, Big Ten disputed the report that college presidents have voted to cancel the season, but announcement is forthcoming on Tuesday, and along with the Pac-12.
Yeah, and the rumors are they're probably going to call off the season. We were talking basketball before the break. We're talking about how the NBA bubble has turned out to be quite entertaining, and it's good basketball, bro. I mean, these guys are going at it. I mean, you got. Look, and I drew a blank on my guy's name. I know his people from down there in Florida, but you had Austin Rivers lighted up for 41 last night to keep the Rockets in that number 4 spot in the West. 129-112 win over Sacramento. They've got the Spurs going on tomorrow at 1:00, so we'll see how that goes. That's a meaningful game. You were saying we were talking a little bit about home court advantage. What does home court advantage mean in these playoffs?
It means you get to wear the white jersey. That's about it. I mean, everybody's playing in the same arena, no fans. Nice touch with the virtual fans around the court, but it just means you get to wear the white jersey.
I mean, either you're the better team or you're not, because you're not going to have any added advantage for being the home court or home team during these playoffs, even if you're Orlando, because you don't have more fans there than any other team. So you just got you got to ball up. You got to ball up and D up, right?
Exactly, and that's one thing LeBron has been mentioning. He's been asked that several times. He talks about how it's weird, one, playing in August, and then two, playing with no fans. You have a lot of guys use the negative energy, the road crowd, to feed them, to motivate them. And you don't have anything, home or away. So it's different.
It's funny you say that, because I look at LeBron as somebody different. There is a playoff LeBron. Is there going to be a playoff LeBron this year, because you don't have those intangibles like you would in a previous season?
Oh, without question. I mean, he knows. I mean, he's year 17. He knows what it takes to get his body ready. He knows what it takes to get his mental ready. Zero Dark 23 is real. When he sets it down and once he goes in, I mean, these 8 seeding games, while great basketball, he knows. He's taken a lot of heat that they lost to Indiana. Well, they lost to Toronto. He knows. He knows what it takes. And when the ball goes up game 1, he'll be fine.
4 out of 7. That's all I keep telling people. Oh, the Rockets beat the Lakers. 4 out of 7, dog. 4 out of 7. That's all we can say. Who don't you want to see the Lakers playing in the first round?
Really? That's how you feel? Okay. Fair enough.
I'm sip my drink while you answer that. Go ahead.
Little T. Got a little T in there. Portland's going to be a problem. And not for the reason. Here's the thing. Not for the reason people think. Dame, yes, without question. He is what he is. He is who he is. Dame time is real. I wish Pat Bev didn't stir it up on Saturday, because he dropped 51 last night, and that could start a run for him. But I'm more concerned with Nurkic. Nurkic has been out all year. Him coming back is going to be a problem. Now, I don't foresee the Lakers losing the first round of Portland. It could be 6, but if you can get rid of a Portland or a Phoenix or a San Antonio in 5. Versus having to exert extra games and you just never know what could happen.
Right.
The longer the games go on. Yeah. So if you can dispatch of a lesser opponent earlier, Portland's going to be a problem. So, and then that playoff is 8 versus 9. So if, let's say, for example, it's Portland and San Antonio, Portland 8, San Antonio 9, San Antonio would have to beat Portland twice to earn the 8 spot versus Portland only have to beat San Antonio once.
Right. Yep. So let's play the game. Lakers versus Memphis. Who you got? And in what?
Oh, Lakers in 5.
All right. Lakers against Portland. Who you got? And in what?
Lakers in 6.
Lakers and San Antonio. Who you got? And then what?
Lakers in 5.
Okay. Clippers and Mavericks.
That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. I'll go Clippers in 7.
Yeah, I can go with that. I'm right there with you. Denver and Utah.
That's an underrated series right there. I'll go Denver in 6.
I'm going with the upset. I'm going Utah. Donovan Mitchell has been everything he wasn't at the end of the season before we shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I like him.
Sure.
I'll go Utah in 7. Rockets and OKC.
CP3. OKC in 6.
Really?
Yes.
That's your upset? Wait a minute now. You went through all those others. You're on a Houston station.
That's why.
The Rockets getting upset.
Yes. And you know what? I wouldn't call it an upset. I would not call it an upset. That small ball, I mean, it's nice in the regular season, but when you got Steven Adams against PJ Tucker or Steven Adams against Robert Covington, nah. Shoot 63s all day. That's fine.
Is Andre Roberson back yet?
Andre Roberson, yes, he is. Yes, he is.
That's the problem. If there is a James Harden stopper-ish person, it's him. I don't know what kind of shape he's in because he's missed a ton of basketball.
Right.
But that dude right there is a problem defensively. Okay, I'm going Rockets over OKC in that round.
Where are you again?
Huh?
Where are you again?
You folk know I ain't in love with nothing down here.
Oh, okay.
And I better be careful saying that.
See, there you go.
Milwaukee and Orlando.
Milwaukee. Orlando took a hit when Isaac went out.
Yeah, I'm going Milwaukee in 4, actually.
Yeah.
Toronto and Brooklyn.
Toronto in 5.
All right. Boston and Philly.
Boston in 6.
I can say 6. You can say it. Miami and the Pacers.
Man, Miami in 5.
Pacers in 5.
Pacers, wow. Okay.
Pacers in 5.
I was going to go Miami in 6, but I convinced myself to give them 5. But okay.
Yeah, man. The Pacers are one of those teams that's just like, man, what happened? What happened?
Right.
Brother, tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and keep up with all the great work that you're doing.
I appreciate the opportunity. Willie Gibson, WILLYGIBSON on Facebook, and IG and Twitter, Will Gibson 7.
When is the podcast coming out so we can start tuning in?
To be determined. It's coming. It's coming. Stay tuned. TBA.
Give us something. What's the name? Give us something.
The name, Will Knows. Will knows. Will knows.
Will knows.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
bro, I like it.
Indeed.
Now, listen, here's what's going to happen because, I'm going to end up calling into the podcast. Sure. I have the ability to change my voice a little bit and sound like some different. And I'm not going to give you examples right now because I've had family members say naughty words to me for years because they don't recognize my voice.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to drop in on you from time to time.
Oh, look, the door is open. I'd love to have you on anytime.
Yeah, but see, I'm just gonna call in. I'm not gonna I don't want to just drop in. I want to call in and see what you got going on, man.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
Willie's got bro, don't be messing with my show.
Hey, no, that's all I love. Listen.
Hey, man, thank you, though. For real, all joking aside, Willie, I really appreciate you as always, man. We'll be talking. Anything breaks, man, hit me up and let me know, and I'll get it out there. But I appreciate you, man. You do a phenomenal job. You're a great brother, man. I'm glad that we got connected. So thank you for what you're doing, man.
I appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity. Anytime.
All right, man. Y'all give it up. Willie Gibson. Again, Will Knows is going to be coming out real soon. We'll definitely be letting y'all know. Be safe out there, bro.
All right, you as well.
Okay. All right, y'all. We got to get ready to wrap it up. Again, Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. Also in the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff Get Up Morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. They are nominated for several different awards for their morning show. And then you've got Dr. Angela Cole, Dr. Sylvia Cole, going to be in the morning with her show. And we'll be in right after that. So y'all be sure and tune in to all of that on the lunch break. We'll have the latest for you in what's going on with the college sports and, of course, with the NBA and Major League Baseball. And if there's anything breaking in football, we'll bring you that as well. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands for 30 seconds or more, and sanitize everything around you, man. Make it clean, make it nice, and then be sensitive. Give people 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. All right? Y'all be blessed. We'll talk to you later.
KYOK Conroe, Houston. The legend continues.
All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in today. Had a lot of fun with y'all. A lot going on. Want to again thank Willie Gibson. Want to thank Valencia King, Todd for dropping in with the stuff that we got to see today. But hey, man, it's just how this thing is. It's very fluid. So I appreciate all the professional friends that I have out there who keep us abreast of what's going on. So y'all follow them, check them out. Like I said, I'll let you know what Willie's stuff is once we get that. I also dropped the link for David Grubb. He's doing the morning show in Lafayette, Louisiana this week. So I'll be dropping the link for that. And, of course, whenever Kelsey Nicole Nelson goes live, I will definitely have you posted on that. So, as always, not this, definitely this. I do. I love y'all. Y'all be safe, okay?